were filed at LBR with reverse repealers. However, we will have committee substitutes. Some of these, particularly the special fund agencies, we'll look at doing these on final passage. And we've got some changes to a few bills, so you'll have committee subs. I would ask, I'll probably present some of these, but for those subcommittee chairs that are presenting bills, I would ask that you pay attention to the ones that need a committee sub. So you explain in the committee sub, and also when you make your motion, it'll be title sufficient to pass committee sub. Also, in the norm for us, and now if anybody wants to do something otherwise, they can let me know. But for a lot of these, we can take them up in block, particularly if there are no changes. If they're LBR, I'm happy to entertain a motion from the subcommittee chair to take those items up in block. And again, I would pay attention. I would ask the subcommittee chairs that are presenting to make sure that they're identifying those bills that will be on final passage and those that have reverse repealers in them. And again, for the benefit of the new members, if they have a reverse repealer, as long as it clears the floor with reverse repealer, there's going to be another opportunity to look at that bill. Some of these that are final passage that we've got would go down, and if there aren't any changes in the House, they may be final bills. So just pay attention to that if you would. So unless there are any other questions for members, just an overall general questions about the process. Seeing none, I'm going to recognize Senator DeBar for Subcommittee 1. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call up Senate Bill 3051. That is a DFA bill. This is a bill that we are doing LBR with a reverse repealer, and I'll go through each of the agencies within DFA. The first one being the status of women, LBR at 47,260. That is also Senate action. DFA itself, LBR Senate action is 86,809,379. This does represent a decrease of about 23 million due to contractuals and salaries from last year. ARPA money being an example, reduction in ARPA money. Tort Claims Board, LBR and Senate action is 6,155,363. State Property Insurance, LBR and Senate action is 21,351,906. The Beam LBR and Senate action is 176,347,972. Mississippi Home Corp LBR and Senate action is $1,810,227. And that is an explanation of each of these. As I said, they are LBR and they do have a reverse. This bill does have a reverse repealer. I'll yield for any questions.
Are there questions for Senator DeBar?
Seeing none, title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized for 3052.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3052 is the governor's support. This is a final action, so there is no reverse repealer. And so with the governor's action, this LBR and Senate action is $3,861,665. This is a reduction about $8.4 million from last year, but that is due to a reduction in federal money for gear and EANS money. So that's the reduction in the governor's mansion support. So that is an explanation. I'll yield for any questions if there are any.
Okay, any questions on the committee substitute that Senator DeBar explained?
Seeing none, title sufficient, do pass, committee sub.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass, committee sub. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator DeBar. Moving on to Subcommittee 2, Senator Parks, do you want me to handle that or do you want to handle it? I didn't have a chance to get with Senator Parks for much this morning, but there's, as you'll see, that this is all the IHL bills, which includes the general support bill, the subsidiary programs, all of the ag units at Mississippi State and Alcorn, and it also includes the Student Financial Aid Office and UMMC. As you may remember at the beginning of the session, we espoused or put in the pay raise for the K-12 teachers, but we also were very clear that we wanted a pay raise for our community colleges and IHL professors. So this budget will include $2,000 pay raises for all the professors at IHL. And when we get to community colleges, we'll have that too. This also includes 25 million. I'm looking at 3053 right now, excuse me. This would include 25 million of capital expense funds that would go for R&R at our universities. And I believe that is, I'm sorry, 20 million, and then 5 million of that's going to be at UMMC. So 20 million in the general support bill for R&R. You'll see the total action general funds is 394,626,701. All funds, 1,672,983,909. This is an increase over LBR of 35,472,000. We yield for questions.
Title sufficient, do pass.
Thank you. The motion, title sufficient, do, no, any questions? Motion, title sufficient, do pass. Committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Hold on one second. All right, the next one is not a committee sub, subsidiary programs. You'll see the general funds is 39,805,424. Total funds 87,832,416. This is not a committee sub. This is the bill that you should have in your packet, which is the original bill that was filed. I'll yield for questions if there are any. Seeing none.
Title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next, I'm going to ask to take up 30, 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59 in block. Does anyone want to set any of those aside? If not, Senator DeBar, do you make that motion?
Make the motion, take them up in block.
Motion is to take them up in block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those items are a 3% across the board increase for all of our ag units at Alcorn State and Mississippi State. So across the board increase, that total amount you'll see in each of the budgets is reflected. For instance, on the Alcorn State, that's $238,000 increase. Ag and Forestry at Mississippi State's $1,009,000. Cooperative Extension $740,000. Forest Wildlife Research Center $189,000, and veterinary medicine $681,000. I'll yield for questions if there are any. Seeing none.
Title sufficient, do pass.
Motion, title sufficient, do pass. Committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. But y'all feel free to stop me at any time. I move pretty quickly through these, but I'm happy to yield for questions. And I know I don't want to keep you from lunch any longer than we have to, but certainly willing to stop at any time. The next is 3060, which is student financial aid. That included an increase of $7,070,817 for scholarship increased cost. Y'all know we've got the HELP, MESG, and MTAG scholarships, and this also would include funds for the they could use some of those funds for the Winter Read scholarship loan repayment as well. And that increase, as I said, is $7,070,000 for a total general funds $54,332,181. All funds in $58,874,841. I'll yield for questions. Question, Senator Hill, you recognize.
On the increase, is that specific to any one of those scholarship funds that you named, or is it a combination?
That's a combination.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions?
Title sufficient, do pass. Committee sub.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. Committee sub. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And then finally, we've got UMMC, and that, as you'll see, included the $5 million for capital expense. That's R&R. CapEx funds would be used for that, and their total amount would be general funds $190,004,192. All funds total $2,414,666,213. And these, by the way, all these have a reverse repeater too. So I just wanted to remind you all that these do include reverse repeaters. Are there questions about UMMC's budget? Senator Wiggins, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's been a request, but also I think a very good push at UMMC to develop the cancer center. Is there, and actually I think I found it section 14, is there funding to help address the cancer center?
Thank you for that question, Senator Wiggins. There is no funding in this. Of course, as I said, this is a reverse repealer. And I think all those type projects for any of our IHL institutions, state buildings or, community, anything that would have that kind of funding would be included when we get further down the road to see what's available. So it'll be capital expense funds likely that would be utilized for those kind of projects. But at this point, we're waiting to see what the big picture looks like. It's still early in the game on some of this. So and that's why, again, we have the reverse repealer for a lot of these bills.
And I know we're not there yet, but I've known there's been, it would be whatever funding there would be an assist. I know there's been private donations or foundation donations and all that. So thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Other questions on UMMC? Being none.
Title sufficient, do pass committee sub.
Motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next, moving to subcommittee 3, Senator Frazier, you want to handle those?
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
You're recognized.
I call up Senate Bill number 3062.
You're recognized, Senator Frazier.
Thank you. In 3062, we went to LBR. We added a reverse repeal in this bill. And also we will be taking 356 million out of the Education Enhancement Fund. But like I said, in this bill, we will be going at LBR, and that amount is $68,158,411.
Are there questions on 3062? Seeing none, Senator Frazier, your motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Moving on to 3063, Senator Frazier, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3063, we have a committee sub that we're going to be considering at this time. Committee sub.
You're recognized to explain the committee sub.
Thank you. In this bill, we went over LBR recommendation because we added 15 million for repair and renovation. And also we added 8,110,000 for professor pay raise. And also that's why we went above LBR. We did add reverse repeal in this bill to make sure that we address some of those concerns. But like I said, the major difference between LBR is that we're going to provide for a pay raise for our faculty members and also for our personnel, and also included 15 million for repair and renovation.
Thank you, Senator Frazier. Are there questions? Seeing none. Motion.
Title sufficient to pass committee sub.
Motion title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. 3064 now.
Thank you. 3064, call that up. We have a committee sub.
You're recognized to explain.
Right. 3064 is Employment Security Commission. In this particular bill, we did add a reverse repealer to this bill. And also we did look at changing the funding level. We're putting in 289,586,000 for vacancy funding, and that's something they request. In this bill, we have 29,865,891 of special funds, and total funds in this bill is $29,865,891 million in this bill.
Okay.
Those are the changes we made in the.
Thank you, Senator Frazier. I think this one does not have a reverse repealer, correct?
Yes, we did add one to this one. We did add a reverse repealer. We
Make
did.
sure on the committee sub, this was 3064, correct?
That's for 3064.
Actually, I think the committee sub, we did not, because I think the only changes we made did not include the reverse repealer, but
Okay,
I'll
we'll double check.
if we need to for some reason tomorrow, let's pass it out as it is now. But if we need to tomorrow when we get to the floor, we can look at that if we need to reinsert that.
Right.
So the committee sub before you, ladies and gentlemen, the committee does not have the reverse repealer. Do you have any questions for Senator Frazier? Seeing none. Did you have a question? Okay. Seeing none, your motion, Senator Frazier's, top
That's
sufficient to pass.
pass committee
Committee
sub.
sub. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be noted as not voting on that.
Thank you.
that bill.
Thank you, Senator McCon. Be noted that you did not vote for that. And then, that include, that concludes your work, Senator Frazier.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Subcommittee 4, I'll recognize Senator Wiggins on 3065.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, my motion would be that we take up Senate Bills 3065, 3066, 3068, 3069 in block. I'd be allowed to explain those. Those are all have a committee substitute and are at final passage.
Does anyone wish to set aside 3065 Ethics Commission, 3066 Judicial Performance Commission, 3068 Tax Appeals Board, and 3069 Workers' Compensation Commission? Does anyone want to set any of those aside? Seeing none, you heard the motion to take those up in block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Wiggins, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On 3065, the Ethics Commission, we are LBR plus 150,301. That's going to be, and our Senate action is 909,689. The plus up was due to a salary realignment recommended by MSPB, and also which was 140,301, and then a $10,000 general funds for a database to help with the filing of the statements of economic interest. And Mr. Chairman, I'll take questions after I go through each one. That's okay. And then on Senate Bill 3066, Judicial Performance Commission, Senate action is $909,009. And what we've done there is we've actually added some additional language to the bill. And the language is that the salary, we're freezing the salary of the director. The reason for that is because for various reasons, it's not been tied to SPB. And the language states that that raises shall not occur without authorization from the legislature. And we also added the word solely to language from last year. We provided a position to not investigate, but to oversee youth courts. We've had some communications that maybe those funds weren't being fully used for that. So we have directed, adding to the language we had last year, put the word solely in there to ensure that that position that we added is solely being used to look at the youth courts. Then on Senate Bill 3068, the Board of Tax Appeals, Senate action is 690,254. That represents 18,821 over LBR. That was to restore LBR cuts and vacancy funding. And then on Senate Bill 3069, Workers' Comp Commission, final Senate action is 6,416,102, which represents 171,678 over LBR. A couple changes in the bill or additions are that 151,664 represents a salary increase for the commissioners, and everyone is tied together. They've been before us a number of years, have made that request. So we have set out that language in there to make the salaries commensurate with the work they're doing. And it's all based on the chairman, which is at 142,200. Then we also added language that was based on a bill from last year that the commission shall certify to LBO on a quarterly basis that the commission members, AL judges, and the executive director shall be full-time employees who shall work at least 40 hours per week, excluding accumulated leave. There has been, and I've received some personal comments and some personal information along with people reporting to us that their ALJs are not working back in the office. We want to ensure that the 40 hours work week is going on. They're in the office. This is the language that we believe will allow that to happen, and it requires a quarterly report to LBO on that. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Are there questions? Senator Suber, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to ask you about Senate Bill 3066, judicial performance.
Yes.
Senator Wiggins, the section 6, the funds appropriated for employing an attorney to audit, investigate, and monitor youth court operations. I don't know, does that fit with this agency?
It does. Because that was language from last year, and they came into the budget office. I'm sorry, into the subcommittee, made the request because in short, we're not getting cooperation from the youth court courts and judges. If you remember 2 years ago, we actually amended the youth court law to say that the Judicial Performance Commission could have access to the youth court records, because actually when they were trying to do their job, they were being stymied by different youth courts across the state and were not being given the records. So we amended the law. So this is the next part of that,
But this is a new position
which was
for this
provided
year?
last year.
Okay.
So we funded it last year, and that position is there now.
All right.
And then that's where the solely part comes in.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Suber. Other questions? Seeing none, Senator Wiggins, your motion.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass, committee substitute.
Motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. And then moving back to 3067, Senator, you recognize.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3067 is the Consolidated Department of Public Safety. There is a reverse repealer. The Senate is adopting the LBR level funding. Senate action is $276,645,454, which represents 3.529925 million over the LBR. And the reason for that is that we have that represents the amount of funding left for the furniture or DPS's new headquarters. They have the last number of years, couple of years, they've come in, have made that request. So we have put that into the budget. We've also, there's reappropriation language for capital expense from last year for all the items that are in there. So that's the explanation of the bill.
Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Other questions?
Motion is title sufficient, do pass, Mr. Chairman.
The motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Let me skip ahead for just a second because I think Senator Norwood may have to go somewhere. Let's move to Subcommittee 8. And I'm going to recognize Senator Norwood to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I take up Senate Bill 3077. I'm going to skip 3078 and come back to it. 3079, 3080, 3081, 3082, 83, 84, 85, 86. I'd like to take those up in block.
You've heard his motion. Does anyone want to set a bill aside before we vote on that? Is there anybody who wishes to set any of those aside? Senator Hill?
I just have a question.
on which you want to set one aside?
I just have a question on 3071.
3071?
Mhm.
That's not in this list. I'm sorry. If you didn't hear me, I was moving to subcommittee 8 first, Senator Norwood. Any of those that he's requested to be taken up in block that need to be set aside? If not, the motion is take them up in block. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized to explain those bills.
Thank you, Mr. Senate Bill 3077, Architecture Board, LBO, recommendation was 360,085. Senate action is 369,241, which is $9,156 above LBR recommendation. And basically to cover salary and some IT needs that's being requested. Senate Bill 3079 is Funeral Services Board. Senate action is 362,604. LBR recommendation was 331,472. And the difference is basically with the rental increase, salary progression, and to address the IT needs that they have. 3080, Geologist Board, Senate action was 159. LBR recommendation was 145,582, which is a difference of $1,877, which is addresses salary progression. Massage therapy, which is 3081. Senate action is $219,128. LBR recommendation was $199,100, which is a difference of $20,028 to address the contractual increase costs and employee salaries. Senate Bill 3082, Motor Vehicle Commission, Senate action $384,213. LBR recommendation was 452, which is a difference of 3,761 to address the salary progression. Senate Bill 3083, Professional Council Board of Examiners and Licensure. Senate action is $473,712. LBR recommendation is $380,127, which represent a difference of $93,585. And that, let me find my notes.
Okay. All these final action too, correct, Senator Norwood?
Yes.
Okay. Are there questions on those items? Seeing none, your motion. Title sufficient do pass. Motion title sufficient do pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now back to 3078. Senator Norwood, you recognize.
3078, that's the banking and consumer finance department, which there's, Mr. President, just want to, there are some, still need to do some work on. We just want to add a verse repealer to it. And so we can continue to work on that.
Okay.
Senate action was, 4,545,602, which is the same as the LBR, but there's still some work that needs to be done on those.
Thank you, Senator Norwood. It does have a reverse repeater in it. Any questions on the banking consumer finance department? Seeing none. Motion, Senator Norwood.
Title sufficient do pass.
Motion title sufficient do pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now back to Subcommittee 5, and I'll recognize Senator Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3070 is Mississippi Development Authority. It's a committee sub and has a reverse repealer in it. The Senate action is 204,527,441, and that's a reduction of 109,928,577. And that's mainly due to the transfer of funds to the new Tourism Committee, and then the deletion of some non-reoccurring expenses with the Project Poppy and Project Atlas. It's an explanation of the bill. I'll be happy to yield for questions.
And this one does have reverse repealer, Senator.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions on the MDA bill? Senator Wiggins, you are recognized for a question.
Thank Senator Blackwell. Where's Senator Blackwell? Senator Blackwell, on MDA, my question is, I would assume like other agencies, there's performance measures for MDA in the bill. Is that right? If you know.
I don't know that.
Okay. When we had the subcommittee hearing, there's a fair amount of discussion with the director about the performance of MDA and particularly down on the coast. I know this is not the time to get on that. There's a reverse repealer, but I would like us to look at either performance measures or something. Okay. Yeah. I was just handed the performance measures that are in the bill. So there are in the bill that maybe we could look at something about measures for south of Hattiesburg. If you recall during the discussion,
Actually, I missed that.
Oh,
I was,
that's right.
I was iced in. So,
okay, I'm
so-
sorry.
So maybe you could get with me and catch me up.
I
on that.
will. I just wanted to bring that up because I think it was a relevant, obviously it was a relevant topic. It's an issue that has continued. MDA does good things, but there are certainly down our way, there are some questions. So if we could, as we go forward, work on that, and I'll get with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Other questions? Seeing, Senator McClendon, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you go over the Department of Tourism, 28,906,613.
I'm not on that bill yet.
We were just wondering where the 121, how that's distributed.
The, you're talking about MDA bill
Yes, sir.
3070?
Yes, sir.
The 121 that's been taken out of special funds, that's likely going to be the projects that, other projects that have fallen out, would be my guess. I don't have the exact number, but we can get you the exact, what constitutes that 121. Yep, that's Corbin's. Yep, here we go. Well, 109 of it is, some of that's the transfers to tourism, contractual transfers, commodities, salaries, travel, tourism. Then we've got the recurring authority for Project Poppy, which is 76 million roughly, and 42.6 million for Project Atlas. And that makes up 109 of it. And then I'll have to go through the details. That makes up most of it right there, but we'll have to go through the details to see what all constitutes. Typically in something like MDA, just for everybody's edification, you're going to have stuff fall out year to year, one time CapEx or project money that was in there that's not going to be recurring. So that's probably what, most of what that is, including this tourism thing that he'll get to in just a minute, which we passed before. Thank you, Senator McClendon. Anything else, Senator Blackhill, you want to add to that?
No, sir. I think you covered it.
Okay. All right. Any more questions on MDA's bill 3070?
title sufficient, do pass committee sub.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Moving to 3071, Senator
I'd
Blackwell.
like to take 3071 and 3102 up in block.
Motion is to take 3071 and 3102 in block. Does anyone want to set either of those aside, which is GCRF and Department of Tourism? Well, hey, Senator Blackwell, Ethan just advised me one is committee sub and one's not. So let's just take them up separately if we may.
All right.
So I will not entertain the motion to take them up in block at this time.
Which one's committee sub? Because it's on my sheets here, I don't.
3102 would be the Department of Tourism, and I'm pretty sure that is final passage, but it's got the money that we took from MDA, moved over to tourism.
But it's not a committee sub. Or at least on my cover sheet here.
GCRF should be not, it should be title sufficient due pass, because I think we had a reverse repeat on that from the beginning. Let me check the bill.
What's okay, I'll do them separate.
Okay,
That's-
all right.
That's fine.
Why don't you do GCRF first?
Senate Bill 3071. The Senate's adopted the LBR level of funding and reappropriated funds from the prior year for the GCRF projects, which total 95 million.
Okay. GCRF reverse repealer really doesn't, at this point, just mostly a placeholder, correct?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Any questions about that bill? If not, the motion is title sufficient.
That should do pass.
Oh, I'm sorry. Senator Hill, do you have a motion? I can't. My view of you is blocked right now. Senator Hill, you recognize.
Yeah, I
for a
did
question.
have a question. I mean, right now it's all zeroed out, but it does have a reverse repealer, so that will be visited at a later time, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hill. Okay, motion, I think you're
Title
making.
sufficient do pass.
Motion's title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Then moving to 3102, and I don't know that we have the committee substitute. I'll just advise it's not in your packet yet. You just skip that. We'll come back to it later, Senator Blackwell. Thank you. All right, moving to Subcommittee 6, Senator Hill, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would entertain taking 3072 up separately since it does have a reverse repealer and it's not a special fund agency.
You're recognized to explain that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The funding for the Department of Mental Health currently with the reverse repealer is listed at LBR at 704, 724, 334. And that some of the highlights that bill does include now is the 12 million for the canopy. The finishing of that project and incorporates some new language to take into consideration some of the bills that we passed for fentanyl and drug abuse education, for mental health first aid training for county and municipal law enforcement, crisis intervention team officers, community mental health center court liaisons. So that's just added language for some of the bills that were passed that had to do with mental health as separate issues. And that's about the highlights of what it is. There's one prior year invoice that was not billed until later on. That's 413,610. That's included in this bill. And I'd entertain any questions.
Any questions for Senator Hill?
Not my motion would be title sufficient due pass.
Motion is title sufficient due pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now, Senator 3073, you want to take up the next few in block?
I can take up the next few in block because there's just a few changes
Okay.
from LBR. I would like to take those up in block and I'll explain them separately.
Motion is to take them up in block 3073, 74, and 75. Does anyone wish to set one of those aside? Seeing none, the motion to take up a block. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You recognize Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First one is Board of Chiropractic Examiners. The changes in that would be 40,000 to update their current licensing system, 9,000 for operational cost for their contract that runs their business, and then 5,500 for the ITS increase. Since we're not certain as to whether that's all gonna go in one bill or not yet for ITS. So it'd be a $54,500 increase over LBR. The next one is the Board of Dental Examiners. That would be a $20,000 increase over LBR, and that would be for vacancy funding of pens. The next one is the Board of Pharmacy. It has a substantial increase over LBR, and 81,551 would be for vacancy funding. They asked for a $500 per diem increase. Now the $118,067 would be to expand the pharmacy recovery program, and we passed a separate general bill for that through public health that would allow the Board of Pharmacy to have their members self-report if they had any type of mental health or drug abuse problems so that they could get treatment before they had any repercussions to their license or were referred to any law enforcement, before it got far enough that they had to refer them to law enforcement. So that's what the $118,000 is for the recovery pharmacist program. And then they had a $28,000, $269 ITS increase. And that was to do with, I think, some audits over the PBMs. If I'm wrong, Corbin can correct me, but for a total of $228,387 over LBR for a total Senate action of $4,398,210 total. Then the next one would be
I think that's it.
yeah, that's it.
Thank you,
That's the last
Senator Hill.
one.
All right.
I'll entertain any questions at this point.
Are there questions for Senator Hill? Seeing none, Senator, your motion.
My motion would be title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Moving to Subcommittee 7, Senator Thompson, you're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 3076 is the Office of State Aid Road Construction. Total Senate action is $367,335,926. That is $131,581,621 over LBR. And the reason for that is we've added an additional $57,877 in special fund authority for vacancy funding, and an additional $131,523,744 in additional special fund authority due to the increase in the gas tax. That's a brief explanation of the bill. And Mr. President, I would have a motion at the proper time.
Thank you, Senator Thompson. Are there questions? 3076. Seeing none, you're recognized for your motion, Senator Thompson.
Motion would be to amend the committee sub to add a reverse repealer.
Motion is to add a reverse repealer. Questions about that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now, Senator, on final passage.
Title sufficient do pass, committee sub is amended.
Motion title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Moving on to Subcommittee 10, Senator Delano, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take up Senate Bill 3087. This is a committee sub. This is for the Department of Audit. And we are adding back $335,720 over LBR. These are for vacancy funding. The sources of the funding are both general funds and special funds. There is a reverse repealer in this bill, but this is a committee sub, and we'll move for title sufficient to pass committee sub at the proper time.
335,702. Is that the number on the addition, Senator?
335,702.
Okay. And I don't think there is a reverse repealer in this bill. I think this would be final.
Oh, I apologize, sir. That's,
Okay.
that's what was deleted. Thank you.
Yep, but it still is committee sub. So any questions on the audit department, 3087? Seeing none, you recognize for that motion, Senator.
Motion of title sufficient to pass committee sub.
Motion title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to bring forward 3088 MDOC, 3089 MEMA, and 3090 DOR, and bring them up in block.
Motion is to bring those three up in block. Are there any person wishing to set any of those aside? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You recognize Senator Delano.
Thank you. All these are at LBR. They do have reverse repealers in them, and I will yield for any questions. And actually, let me go ahead and do this by DO or on Department of Corrections. Their total budget is 466,707,591. General funds makes up 7,319 for MEMA. And as everyone knows, we'll have some additional work on this committee or on these budgets as we move forward in our general bill process. But currently for the MEMA and disaster recovery is at 34,501,126. General fund support of that is 5,809,955. And for DOR, their total action is 81,848,227, or excuse me, 270. And of that, 56,806,396 is in general funds. And again, that's an explanation of the bill. They all have general or reverse repealers in them. I'll yield for any questions.
Are there questions for Senator Delano? Seeing none, your motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Moving on to Subcommittee 11, Senator McCollum, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. We're going to call up Senate Bill 3091. This is going to be your Ag and Commerce, Department of Ag and Commerce. Now, we do have an amendment at the proper time on that, but what you'll notice is currently it's set at Senate action, same thing as LBR, which is 28,168,564. Most of that reduction from last year is because of non-reoccurring expenses where we did some work on the fairgrounds and some other areas for them. Mr. Chairman, the amendment that I would have would actually take in and add an additional 375,000 back in. We've worked on an elevator over there for a good bit of the time, and this would be to complete that. So my amendment would be to amend section 2 and increase it by 375,000. And then in section 22, that would actually add a section 22 that would take into account that new capital expense there and renumber the following sections thereafter and remove the reverse repealer so this can continue to move forward as a final bill.
Okay, thank you. And just for the committee's benefit, Senator McConnell and I discussed this beforehand, and something he and I agreed that we've got an equine elevator that's not in good shape and needs to get done. And we felt like the Senate should support adding that to their budget and utilizing capital expense for that. So what is that amount again, Senator McConnell? $375,000. Okay. Are there questions on the amendment first?
Mr. Chairman, proceed.
Senator Wiggins?
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
So in the past, when we have done an amendment and added, there's a rule that that if you're adding, you got to take.
This is capital expense, not general funds.
Okay, this is capital expense. All right,
Right.
thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, procedurally, the amendment would be to add that onto this, so we'd have a new committee sub. So my motion would be to amend to add those to it before we do the final.
Yeah, the two parts of your amendment to remove the reverse repeater and to add the 375 for the equine elevator, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, y'all have heard the motion. Does anybody have a question about the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now on final passage,
Mr.
any
Chairman, title
questions?
sufficient to pass committee sub.
Motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Moving on to 3092.
Moving on to 3092, this is our county livestock shows and our Dixie National Show. As you're going to see, these are from the estimate from 26. LBR is the same thing, and our Senate action is the same on that 266,540 for your county livestock shows and 1.2 across the board for your Dixie National. I would entertain questions.
Are there questions?
Now, one note is these are final. These will we sit on down after we get them off the floor. So title sufficient to pass will be my motion.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Call up Senate Bill 3093. This is our Board of Animal Health. I have requested that we have the reverse repealer in here, and we do have a reverse repealer in this. And that's because we're about 30 days out from being done with this, the season as a whole. We're currently in a response down in south part of the state right now on some avian flu at a farm. So that's the reason there is a reverse repealer in this one, so that if we have to act any differently between now and then, we can. We're continuing to work with Dr. Watson to get that done and to be sure that we have the funding for them to respond properly. Mr. Chairman, I would entertain questions.
Thank you for that explanation, Senator McCollum. Are there questions?
Title sufficient to pass.
Seeing none, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator McCollum. All right, moving to Subcommittee 12, Senator Williams, I'll recognize you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. If it's okay with the committee, I'd like to take up Senate Bills 3094, 3097, 3099, 3100, and 3101 in block.
Could you repeat those again?
3094, 3097, 3099, 3100, and 3101. These are committee subs and they are final passage.
Okay. Is there anyone that wishes to set any of those measures aside?
Thank you. I will
Seeing
briefly.
none, the motion taken by block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Or you recognize Senator Williams to explain
you.
those.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll briefly go through these. Gaming Commission is Senate Bill 3094. Senate action is $11,444,932. This is an increase of $281,717. This is for vacancy funding. The Senate Bill 3097 is a personnel board. Senate action is $5,537,698, an increase of $361,749. This is for vacancy funding. There's a rent increase and also for IT equipment. Senate Bill 3099 has several different budgets within. It's the Treasurer's Office. The initial is the office is $7,222,072, an increase of $387,558. Again, this is vacancy funding. The investing funds is $150,000. The Senate action is this is at LBR. The Impact Trust Fund is spending authority of $35 million. This is at LBR. These three are special fund spending. The bond and insurance payments is $464,341,274. Senate Bill 3101 is Veterans Affairs Board. The Senate action is $28,129,356. This is an increase of $19,162,504 over LBR. This is for vacancy funding and also for the Rankin County Nursing Home, another tranche of $18,925,000 for that. Also, Senate Bill 3101 is Veterans Affairs. It is at LBR, which is $54,368,993. And again, these are all committee subs and final action.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Williams. Are there questions on any of those items?
Title sufficient to pass.
Seeing no questions, the motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Now returning back to 3095, Senator Williams.
Yes, I would like to, 3095 is next is information technology. The Senate action is $49,529,290. And also within this bill is the ITS Wireless Commission for, known as MISWIN. The Senate action is $11,864,570. This bill does have a reverse repealer in it and it's still working its way through the system.
Are there questions? Seeing none.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Moving to 3096, Senator.
3096 is Military Department, Senate Actions, $260,623,603. This is an increase over LBR of $3.3 million. That amount is for the TRICARE reimbursement program. We passed a general bill out, I think, the first week of session for this.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said, Senator Williams?
I'm sorry, the increase over LBR is $3.3 million. This is for the TRICARE reimbursement program. We passed a general bill, I believe, the first week of session in regards to this.
Thank you, Senator Williams. Are there questions on that item?
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator DeBar, please have, Madam, Mr. Secretary is not here. We'll get Ethan to do it to make sure that Senator DeBar is registered as not voting. Does that cover all your, Senator
more.
Williams? One more,
more.
yes. Which one?
3098, Secretary of State.
3098. Thank you.
This is at Senate Actions, $39,180,673. This bill, like ITS, has a reverse repealer in it, and we are still working it through the system, Mr. Chairman.
Questions on Secretary of State's bill? Seeing none.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed,
you.
nay. The ayes have it. Now we'll return back to Senator Blackwell. I think you should have a committee substitute in front of you for 3102, the Department of Tourism. Senator Blackwell, you're recognized to explain it.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have the committee sub. It does not have a reverse repealer in it, though. And this is contingent upon Senate Bill 2016 that we passed earlier, getting passed over in the House. But it appropriates $28,906,613, and those funds, as I mentioned before, come from the Mississippi Development Authority. Now, yield for any questions.
Are there questions on 3102 committee sub? Seeing none.
Title sufficient to pass committee sub.
The motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We have one other bill that we need to take up, and I haven't even visited with Senator Williams about this yet, but it's simply a reappropriation bill for ARPA. Senator Williams explained excellently in committee and on the floor about what we're doing with the ARPA clawbacks, but we still have to reappropriate funds to these various entities up through the date that we've got in here is October the 15th, because even though we set September 30 as the cutoff, it gives them 2 weeks after the cutoff to get the funds back in. So we're reappropriating beginning July 1st through October 15, 2026, the following amounts, and it's $16,122,511 to Department of Employment Security, $110 million to DEQ, $116,570 to DFA for tourism purposes, $2,107,146 to DFA for the Independent Colleges and Universities Grant Program Fund, $241,128 to the Department of Health for operational expenditures, $9,677,318 to Department of Health for local provider innovation grant program, $149,876,737 to the Department of Health for funding the rural water infrastructure grant program that we put in place through ARPA, $3 million to the CPS for defraying eligible operation expenses, $7,621,815 for the UMMC nursing building, $24,233,359 to the Department of Mental Health for behavioral and mental health needs and operational expenses, $711,079 to the National Guard for projects. DPS had $575,000 for eligible projects. District attorneys, $35,895 for legal assistance and support personnel when we dealt with COVID backlogs. $175,627 for the Supreme Court for eligible expenditures and under ARPA. $2,315,309 to the Post-Secondary Educational Financial Assistance Board for the Skilled Nursing and Hospital Nurses Retention Loan Repayment Program, $799,804 to DFA for the Independent Schools Infrastructure Grant Program, $13,511,982 to DOT for eligible surface transportation projects in their 3-year maintenance plan. And we put in that no funds are to be used for employee premium payments. Also, Section 19 as a, summarizes again what the funding guidelines are for ARPA, and that agencies have to certify everything that's been done, that it's following all the guidelines and rules and regs and other criteria set up by the U.S. Treasury Department. And finally, these will be paid by the state treasurer, and the state fiscal officer will issue warrants upon requisitions. This is effective July 1, 2026. And again, it's for that short period of time between July 1, 2026 through October 15, when that money will come back in pursuant to the bill that we passed and Senator Williams handled previously. I'll yield for questions. Senator Williams and I'll both yield for questions if we need to on this. I'll make him yield if we have to. Any questions on that ARPA reappropriation bill? Seeing none, Senator DeBar, your motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Who had a question? Okay. Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Record Senator McCon. Did you need to be recorded as not voting on that? National Guard, Senator DeBar, you be recorded as not voting on that as well. Look, just final thing we want to say before I entertain a motion to rise and report, although we've got some of these bills, we've done some in the past with no reverse repeaters, mainly on special funds, which is what we did today. We do have some of those general bills that are final passage that we might be able to get across the finish line a little bit quicker, but we certainly want to hear. If you got any questions about anything, please come see me or Corbin or the subcommittee chair. We'll plan on taking these up tomorrow. Hopefully we can get them up out of the House, out of the Senate tomorrow and headed to the House. And looking forward to working with the House to, do what we can to expedite the process and keep the trains moving on time. So any questions about anything from the senators? Seeing none, Senator DeBar, your motion. Motion is to rise and report. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you all very much. What did you say, Dennis? The chair look forward to working with the House. I didn't know.